Welcome back, everybody. Time now for the Summit 3 Europe. We've got lower bracket action here. Na'Vi taking on the 4 Anchors and Sea Captains. Following this best of 3, we have a second one, which is going to be Empire versus Cloud9. But to start things off, one of these two teams getting eliminated from the Summit 3, brought to you by Gigabyte. I'm GoDz from Beyond the Summit, and joining me is my good friend Synderen of Dota Cinema fame, as well as, well, many other fames. But how you doing, Synderen? He's left his TeamSpeak. Unmute your microphone, Synderen.
Oh, rookie mistake. I'm not that. I'm kind of new to this. I haven't really cast before, so please be gentle. Okay, so anyway, it's been a while since I cast. I think the last time I cast was actually DAC, unless if I'm missing something here. And we were supposed to cast a game together, but then you fell ill, and we never got to cast. So I'm particularly excited for this because I cannot remember casting with you before, and we might have done it, but it's years ago, I think, if that's the case. So should be good.
Yeah, I think it would have been quite some time ago, but we've got a pretty good match here. Na'Vi taking on the 4 Anchors, and loser getting eliminated here from round 1 of the lower bracket. So we'll see who's going to be going home early today. How you been doing lately, Synderen? You been a busy man, or?
I've been streaming a lot.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm spending my time on a lot right now. It's been good. I've been having a lot of fun with that, so it's good to be back with that. But I think it's not my stream we're talking about here. I think there's something a little bit more interesting on the line. And I want to say, I just quickly checked up on it. 4ASC and Na'Vi have faced off 3 times before. 4ASC have never won. So going into this game, I think it's fair to say they're the underdogs. But of course, Na'Vi is such a hard team to play. Seriously, you never really know what you're going to get with Na'Vi. They've changed so many times. Very recently now, they've replaced Godlike with Soneko. I haven't seen any rapid improvement since that just yet, but they're just looking for that magical solution to the formula that they haven't been able to find for, let's be honest, probably a year and a half now.
It's been a long time. I think you'd say slightly the same about 4 Anchors as far as you never know what to expect from them, because this is a team who generally doesn't beat the top Tier 1 teams, like doesn't beat your Empires, your Secrets, your Cloud9s, even your Na'Vis. But just yesterday when they played against Team Secret, they managed to take Game 1 against Team Secret and had a pretty close best of 3 series, at least taking it to a 3rd game. So we're going to see if they can do something similar here against Na'Vi. If this is you could say an easier opponent than Team Secret, at least as far as where Na'Vi currently stands with their roster reshuffles, and we'll see what they have in mind here. So the draft underway. Synderen, anything kind of stand out to you being different, special about the pick so far?
I know Magnus has become more popular, but seeing him as the overall first pick is something I still feel like is less usual than a lot of other heroes. Navi's opener, Avenged Shadow Fiend, has been pretty standard for a couple months now. And then 4ASC grabbing Juggernaut with the Empower makes a lot of sense. The Visage is probably the biggest standout so far. That Na'Vi are picking that 3rd, probably setting up for a Drow and going for a quad range lineup so far as their first 4 with a Drow Aura. And 4ASC don't really have a solution to it. I think Na'Vi are just going to grab it no matter what.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they don't.
Well, Spirit Breaker picked up by 4 Anchors. So they've just picked up their 3 cores right off the bat. There's your Drow Visage from Na'Vi. A classic kind of combo. They have a lot of it's not just Drow Visage here. They've got minus armor to go with it from Venge and Shadow Fiend. So this lineup has got insane right-click physical damage. And that's something where even when you're picking these kind of tankier heroes like a Spirit Breaker, they're not going to look very tanky against the right-click damage of Na'Vi.
Sorry, just a sec. I'm just trying to, quickly trying to adjust my mic. I'm being told it's a little bit low, and I also had it off in Dota TV. So, as always, totally prepared. So that's unfortunate. That I mean, or is that on my end or is that on your end?
I turned you up a bit. If you turn yourself up some more, we can see how it sounds in 2 minutes' time. I don't know.
I mean, in Dota TV, are you in control of it? Or
oh, you're in control of it. Sorry, yeah. That's.
So you're not mixing that.
No, that's also my fault. I should have let you know. I know some people put their codecaster in themselves, but yeah, you need to have your open mic on. Sorry about that.
All right, we're good. I think we're good. Now we're through all the bumps that there are with setting up for Dota TV. Okay, so anyway, hopefully the volume is a little bit better now. I moved it a little closer.
Also interesting with Na'Vi is Dendy's drafting. This is not something Na'Vi normally go to very often, but well, we'll see how it works out here for Na'Vi. I mean, they've gone for a kind of nothing kind of. I mean, it's a kind of pocket strategy with the Drow Visage, but it's not like something never seen before by any means.
Yeah, if you want to talk about pocket stress, I think 4ASC have got one rather than Navi here. The 4 ranged with Drow Visage was more of a new thing, I want to say half a year or maybe even a year ago. Was that run at TI4? I think it was, actually. So this strategy is decently old in the pro scene, but running, when I see a lineup with 4 melee heroes, 2 of which are Omni Knight and Spirit Breaker, I'm thinking pocket strat. I think they picked the Spirit Breaker in anticipation of the Drow. They just want a hero who can get up close and personal and remove the marksmanship as fast as possible to take the fights. But at the same time, you're running a 4 melee lineup into a Drow Aura in the laning stage. Are you actually going to get out of this laning stage without just being completely crushed? Now it's 5 range for Navi.
Oh man.
I don't know. What can you... I cannot... Just looking at these heroes, there's like... For me, there's no solution for 4AC that they can pick that can win the laning stage. Like, I'm not feeling it. I don't know if you can see anything, but...
I don't think so. I mean, your best bet is just get that strong range support. I think like a Witch Doctor maybe is one of your better... I don't think anything's going to win the laning stage, but... And the other thing is, even in the mid to late game, like, you try and get up in Navi's face, they've got Morphling who's going to be an off-lane strength Morphling who just pushes you back using the stun. Drow Ranger has Gust. Like, it's not going to be as easy as you'd like to kind of go onto Navi. Sure, Navi don't have a huge amount of lockdown. Morphling alone, though, has that spammable 4.25 second stun, though.
Yeah, I think Navi have really got the better end of this draft. Gonna see if 4ASC have some sort of nice solution here. I think the way they've set up for this, it's kind of... I feel like it's just in-your-face style, that they just want to try to face rush into Navi, force a fight, and then get an RP off, and then they have multiple heroes that benefit from Empower. I mean, empowering Spirit Breaker and Juggernaut should not be underestimated. But the hard thing for 4ASC is to get Navi to cluster up. Forcing out a good RP for 4ASC is going to be very difficult if they don't have a very easy way of initiating. They've got Spirit Breaker charging in with Repel on, which is great, but what's the real threat in the follow-up? What's the point when Navi are going to get scared and will be unable to reset when they've got both Swap, Morphling Stun, which they will easily use on Spirit Breaker unless he's repelled. So that's a no-brainer. They have to repel Spirit Breaker or they won't get the opener. And even then, they cannot open on the Morphling because you'll always just be able to waveform out and reset. So it's really tricky. They're going to go with the Bane. I am really dumbfounded. I don't know what to expect.
I was hoping you had something to say about this. I'm just like looking at this like Bane, like what? Not what I was expecting. Enfeeble is like something to offer against the physical damage, but there's physical damage from Drow, from SF, from Familiars, from absolutely all kinds of sources. So this is not going to be a particularly potent game for Bane. Even like beyond that, like you're not looking at the rest of his skill set offering a whole lot. The Fiend script, there's plenty of things to cancel it with Familiars, with Venge, with Morphling Stun, so
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know. Bane definitely a pick I wasn't expecting.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think you... I'm not sure if you need to turn me up even further, but you have done it, right? Because
yes.
If I turn myself up even further, I think my mic is going to be really sensitive. So
okay.
I'm pretty sure I should be good in Dota TV, because this is the setting that I'm always running with, I think. So if I'm still a little bit too low for you, just try to boost me a little bit. I think that's the best way of going about this.
All right, I've maxed you out. I'll turn myself down a bit, so maybe that will like balance us out a bit, anyways. But it seems to be a little bit better. All right, I'm gonna lower mine a little bit more. So let's see if that'll balance things. But we'll get things underway. Shoot me a message on people who are listening. And LD, I think, was listening. Give me some text. Let me know when you hear this if it sounds any better. But we've got Game 1. Best of 3 Na'Vi versus 4 Incas and Sea Captain. And it's like Na'Vi going to be going with a pretty standard setup here. Down bottom lane is going to be where we find Saniko, the new stand-in, or at least the tryout for Na'Vi, going to be playing the support Visage. Dendi going to be on the Shadow Fiend. There'll be Havost playing the Drow Ranger. Towards the top lane, Vengscore on the support Venge. Boots first for him, and DK Phobos going to be going off lane on that Morphling. So we'll see how things pan out for them with this laning stage, but should be pretty potent with the Drow aura and just generally strong laning heroes.
Yeah, I think what 4AC are going to be looking for here is a cheap first blood on the bottom run if they can get it. If they can Nightmare a hero like Visage who has 0 base armor, they actually have kill potential with Greater Bash or Charge into an Omni Knight Purification, but looks like they're just going to be grabbing the bounty rune. It's a trade-off as Phobos actually gets the top rune as well. So both off-laners getting the bounty runes, which I feel like is not as common. Most of the time we give it to the mid laner. unless this is a new trend over the last few days that I haven't noticed. I want to say this benefits Navi a bit more. I think the levels on Morphling are going to be a little more relevant than the Spirit Breaker. For him, for the big break for Spirit Breaker, no pun intended, is to go from level 1 to 2. But beyond that, level 3, level 4, level 5 for Spirit Breaker, not really the biggest of deals. Whereas for Morphling, they're really good.
Yep. Well, we'll see. Looks like the Bane started out near the mid lane with the Venge, but both are going to swing their way towards top. So Phobos with the Bounty Rune should be able to get himself level 2. Hopefully in a fairly straightforward fashion. Boogie actually taking a bit of damage, but just casual harass coming out, which it seems for the most part, 4 anchors at the top get the better of.
Tracy taking a lot of damage bottom as well here.
Hoping for some GG bashes. You get like 2 bashes in a row and suddenly you've got a first blood. You never know.
He's got charge now, but I don't think he wants to go for this. He's actually taking a lot of damage here, just baiting out. He might end up dying if he's not careful. This is pretty close.
There was a salve available, so I guess he's actually going to go back in. He's going to charge Saniko now. He's using a Tango. If he gets a couple bashes, this could be a potential first blood. Trixie, 1 right click, 2. No bashes just yet. He's going for another. He gets the bash. Saniko, he gets slowed though. He's not getting the second right click he needs. Oh, Trixie. Oh, he doesn't get the kill on that right click either. And the slows from Havos, second charge. Oh my god. He's got the first blood. He's trying to juke around the trees now. He's kind of playing with Havos a little bit here. Ring around to Rosie. Let's see what Havos sees, and well, he'll go down in return. Interesting opening to this game in the offlane.
I think Trixie is really happy with this. Trading 1 for 1, getting level 3 very quickly here. Choosing to skill Empowering Haste for the extra movement speed will probably allow him even more aggression around. He's going to immediately charge mid. I think Nemphy will not be getting his ball out. No, he won't. It's on the way, but this charge...
Meanwhile, Bane's getting a kill on Vangscore with a Haste Rune. Oh boy, Vangscore hiding in the trees, and I don't think this is going to save him. He's 2 mana short of a stun. Can he get it off? That last right click not going to finish him off. The charge on Dendy. This may be 2 more kills going the way of 4 anchors. Dendy, he's surrounded. All he can do is maybe turn and throw some razors, but 2 more kills to 4 anchors. Well, the Spirit Breaker pick's working.
I don't know. I was not expecting Trixie to have a good start. Playing against Drow Visage is really difficult as any melee hero, of course. Spirit Breaker, one of the most tanky heroes in the game on level 1. I think he's the tankiest health and armor. Has very high base health and base armor, so he can withstand quite a bit of harassment in the lane, but getting the kill is something that Navi are probably going to be really sad with. It's one thing, but you see it snowballing, right? The moment he gets that kill, he starts looking for around the map, finds the kill on Dendy, and then a lucky S4 rune, let's be honest, for Valix here. I don't think they kill Venge with any other rune than a haste, and that's what he got, so a little bit of RNG here as well. As well, we got a DC for host.
Alright, man, bring out... You know, we have cast together, because I remember... Well, no, you weren't casting with me. You just came on when we were reading our Harry Potter that one time. For a second, I was like, we've cast together. I was like, wait a second. No, that was just, I think, me and Lumi reading Harry Potter, and then you came on to reading some Danish.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
High-quality pause casting.
Yeah.
I don't have my book here, so...
I've only got... I don't know. I don't have any Harry Potter. I've got a few other books nearby. I've got some Murakami. That's probably a bit too deep for the Twitch chat. You need to dumb it down. 50 Shades of Grey. I haven't got that nearby, but... so yeah, early start. 4 anchors looking pretty good. I mean, it's just early kills here. Hasn't really decided the laning stage by any means, and 4 anchors I'm going to have to see kind of where they transition off of this, because it is still Navi getting good farm on Havost as well as Dendy, despite the 1 kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, the important thing for 4AFC is for ASC for AFC double combo team. It's really important for them that this is happening. Because like we talked about going into the game, there is just no way in hell they win the laning stage, at least not on farm. So the only way they can really do this is by playing a chaotic game of Dota where they start roaming around really early, and the rotations from the Bane as well as the Spirit Breaker have really been giving them what they need. You still see they're behind on farm, clearly. Their net worth is higher than the Dyers, or higher than the Radiants, because they've got these 3 kills, including the First Blood, which of course is a significant bonus for Trixie. But even with 3 kills, they're still trailing on experience by a whopping 50. So let's not read too much into that, but it's still, you know, if you're behind on experience, regardless of what amount it is, at minute 3 with 3 kills, that means you're losing the lanes pretty heavily, right? So They need to continue this. That's the hard part. They've got a good start. Now, how do you keep it up?
That's what it feels like with Navi's roster. It's like even a few kills here or there, they can out-farm Forenkers as long as they kind of settle down, find their groove. They've got a lineup which can fall back and farm the jungle. All Havos needs is maybe like a Morbid Mask. You've got Dendi who can farm jungle stacks. For Forenkers, they don't really have the same farming efficient heroes. The only really good farming efficient hero they've got is maybe the Juggernaut. Apart from that, Magnus is kind of so-so, can maybe farm some stacks with Shockwave, but from the Navi side, they can just play like just a farming game here, and then in the mid game they just start pushing towers and taking objectives. But we'll see if Forenkers, like you say, can keep up the aggression, because if they don't, it does feel like Navi have got the more kind of standard and just stronger draft flat out.
Yeah, we're gonna have host connecting back in. You know what? All right. So I'm not sure what the issue is. I'm gonna try to switch microphones to my headset mic, and then we'll see if that's better than this, because there's still a lot of negative response. I'm not quite sure what the issue is, but I'll try to fix it on my end. So just a sec. I'll switch over.
No problem. I turned you up a little bit more, but yeah, well, hopefully that'll maybe fix some things up. The actual quality, because we're using TeamSpeak, but the actual quality is kind of 50-50. It seems okay. Well, we're going to get things back underway now. Voss is reconnecting the game. Seems ready to go. Top lane, DK Phobos or Matumba Man. Trading some blows here with Vengskor TPing in, and Matumba Man going to be forced to salve up to help himself out there, but looking like he'll be okay. Trixie's charging en route towards top lane. Radiant team did spot this out with an Observer Ward, and oh, Trixie actually got himself stuck. TP's back bottom. Alright, so just waiting. Let me know when you're back and good to go.
Alright, I am testing 1, 2, 3.
Hello, 1, 2, 3. I can
Alright,
hear you.
is this any better than before for you?
It's different.
Is that a good thing? I don't know.
I'm trying to decide.
I mean, else we can switch programs. This is just a weird issue that I've never had. Usually using TeamSpeak for me works perfectly fine, so I'm not sure what's going on.
I can understand you. I've been able to understand you and hear you perfectly. It's I think being more on the stream side of things. But I mean the audio quality's been so-so. But
okay,
we'll see what people say. There's a 2-minute delay. Charge at bottom lane. Havos going to get jumped on. There's a purification to follow this one up. Havos gets hit by the second bash. Trixie. The RNG is pretty real here, as Saniko may be next in line here. Trixie going to take off the Nightmare while repelled, and Saniko, one more right click, he goes down. They're keeping up the aggression. Nice and fine here, Synderen.
Yeah, if you can get 4 kills in the laning phase with Bane and Omni Knight as your 2 supports, you're definitely doing it right. So they do manage to rotate down here, and killing out the Drow, if they can shut down Kvothe a little bit here in the start, it's very important, because the entirety of Navi's lineup is really built on the strength of the Drow. So if Drow has a bad laning stage and you're running this 5-range lineup with Drow and you delay her level 6 or delay her first big agility item, the entire lineup suffers. So this is like the highest value lane they can gank. They could try to gank Dendi once or twice more, but he's a Shadow Fiend, so he can always just go and find some farm in the jungle if Navi choose to stack it, which, surprisingly for me, not a single stack being prepared yet by the Navi side for Dendi. Seems a little bit weird, because their supports, honestly, are not really getting too much done, and then, at the very least, you should be stacking the jungle, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think Saniko hasn't really been able to put that much pressure or zone out the Spirit Breaker at all. If anything, it's been the Spirit Breaker getting the kills. Have another charge down bottom lane, and there's, well, 2 supports here ready to go. They've got the Purification and the Bane with mana. Has a level 2 Brain Sap here, and it looks like Havos going to just instantly get picked off again, trying to hide underneath these trees. He's picked up the Morbid Mask, but one more right click, down he goes. Forenkers keeping things up, and Trixie going to TP himself out. A charge from base, a TP home, and that's basically a completed Urn of Shadows.
Yes, this Spirit Breaker is doing so much more work than I thought he would, and of course, it's what we talked about when it comes to the initiation factor. If you put Repel on the Spirit Breaker and he goes in, the ability to counterplay it is actually... It is there for Navi, but not this early in the game. The way they counterplay it is that they have a swap and they just reset on... No matter who they open on with the Spirit Breaker, they just swap them out and they play from... Yeah, they just wait out the Repel, and then they maybe stun the Omni Knight or silence him with Gust or something like that, and then they take the fight, but those tools aren't there yet. So Trixie is basically a god-tier hero with Repel on. You see him even charging Dendi here, just keeping him out of the jungle. And this means Dendi will not be stacking this a 3rd time.
Just small things, like you say. Yeah, it doesn't actually really kill Dendi off there, but he forces him back to the fountain. He doesn't get that next stack off, so... As far as like the big picture goes for Na'Vi, they are not getting the farm and levels they'd hoped to get. Havos just now about to finally get his level 6. It's an alright time, so he'll offer his team a lot more bonus damage with the Precision Aura, but we'll see if that's going to be if that's going to cut it. for Na'Vi here, who still don't seem to be getting too much out of their what should be strong laning stage.
Yeah, they're really not. They're losing... I mean, we looked at it on paper, right? We might just not understand this 4ESC lineup right now, but we were expecting Na'Vi to come off with a really good start in this game. And they're 2,000 gold behind minute 6, with which is something you almost actually never see from a 5-range Drow lineup, because that lineup is built to win the lanes by just having raw damage and then transitioning into pushing as well. They will be finding 1 kill here on Boogie. I think that's going to be it, though, as TP was cancelled from Volix. And Trixie...
Oh, Phobos mid lane gets the stun off the waveform, and Dendy. Oh, nice 2-hero RP! Is there a skewer backwards? There is. Nemphy has a skewer, no mana for a shockwave, and he stays alive, and with the TP in from the Jug. The Omni/kill goes on to Dendy, and DK Phobos getting charged here. 4 anchors just reading Na'Vi so well here. Trixie with the GG bash.
Instant pause. If this was a pub game, he writes question mark in the chat. You get a greater bash kill. You instant pause, and you're like, what?
No, this isn't the NA servers. This is Europe. The all chat question mark is an NA Dota thing.
Well, this is one of the better reasons to pause. There's been a lot of pausing in Dota 2 lately, but at least this time they're pausing because someone's at the door, not because someone's at the DDoS or whatever. So
yeah,
I mean, that's an improvement, right?
I guess it's an improvement.
I mean, hopefully it's a shorter pause.
Yeah.
What we've got used to.
It's just funny, like, this is like a professional esports tournament. The teams are competing to qualify for a tournament for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they have to pause a game to go answer the door.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I
see what you mean.
It doesn't strike you as professional, but I understand. These teams obviously, I mean, Forenkas are not like full-time players on like year-round salaries or anything like that, but it's just, it speaks to something, I guess. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here. But no. If hey man, the doorbell rings, someone's going to answer it. Could be important. Trixie's ready to go. So 4 anchors, 8 kills to 2. Early game start is looking pretty nice for them. It's still just a 1,500 gold lead. So, and we've said it before, it does feel like they have to keep this aggression up and keep going. Not giving you can't give Na'Vi any room to breathe this game.
Well, certainly, when you kill them once per minute so far, they're not really having too much room to breathe. Most will be getting a pause. Vanscore. Thank you, Vanscore. Well, he picked up his treads. So, with Vost being level 6, this is an extra 40 agility from the marksmanship. If he turns these treads into agility, that's another 8, so that's 48 agility. And then his aura is currently level 2, so that's 24%. That's about a fourth of... So about 12 damage for everyone, for now, from that aura. I'm disregarding his base agility.
You know, Synderen, that math was very impressive, but if you just hover over the Drow Ranger tooltip...
I was talking about how much he just gained from what he had before.
Okay.
I think he went from 8 to 20.
I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah. I thought you were just calculating how much damage, how much precision or damage he was giving to his whole team.
I may have, when I entered this cast today, had some very clear rookie mistakes when it comes to setting the sound, but I still know a thing or two about Dota sometimes. So
okay.
I know that icon. But
yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Okay, so, well, what are we looking at? What is there to talk about? So, Juggernaut and Shadowfiend currently tied on CS. Drow has a... Well, I guess we should compare Shadowfiend and the Magnus, which is a fairly even in mid lane on farm so far. About a 10 advantage for Dendy, which this is a lane Shadowfiend wins on paper, so I think 4ESC would be perfectly okay with this if they know this is the current score. And then their Juggernaut and Drow are pretty tied. The bigger thing, though, is that Morphling has managed to get 15 CS in the top lane against the 3 of Trixie. So that's, of course, the Drower that does quite a bit of work, but it's also the fact that 4ESC's top lane can't really pressure Morphling that much, and as a result, even with all these kills coming in from Trixie, he's been part of 6 kills. Phobos has still got more experience than the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah. Trixie's been spending a lot more time roaming around the map, as opposed to Phobos, who's been kind of sitting in lane, I guess, is the other kind of big thing there. But I think it's the better option for Trixie. It's just to get these kills, and he's going to go for another one. Bottom lane, he's leading a charge down bottom, but there is a Radiant lane ward, so they'll spot this coming. And Saniko, well, we'll see if he's going to be able to get out of there. He's running for dear life here. TP's coming in from Na'Vi. Will he go for this charge? Trixie, he's committing. No, okay, no, he's not. Thinks better of it. He's got the Urn charges now as well, so get some extra firepower out of the offensive Urn capabilities.
Yeah, such a great item on Roaming Spirit Breaker. I think his build so far is perfect. Boots into Orb of Venom and Urn of Shadows is the build if you want to roam Spirit Breaker. Especially if you get a good start like this. It's such a good snowball item to keep you ahead in the game. Both the Orb of Venom and Urn. He's getting them for the aggressive purposes more so than the Urn, which is obviously a good heal for yourself or your team. He's getting this to get kills. He's not getting it to stay alive and sustain a push, because yes, that's something their lineup can also do later on, but at that point they have Healing Ward and Omni Knight's heal, so they don't really need the Urn for the sustain in this game as much as they need it to just get that extra 150 damage to secure kills.
So Forenka is going to smoke into this Radiant jungle. They scouted out the lane ward with a sentry, but they didn't want to break their smoke to kill it, and they're trying to find pickoffs here, but Na'Vi, I think they didn't see the smoke happen, but they saw that there was a smoke on the Bane, so they're hugging their tower, playing things safe. And we'll see maybe Vengscore get picked off here. Yep, charge on bottom lane, Vengscore, Purification, but Rain Sap.
All that pure damage, Jesus. Insta-kill.
And while this is going on, because Na'Vi are playing so scared, Matumba Man just solo pushes a top tier 1 tower. Magnus completes his blink at mid. 4 Anchors are doing really nicely here in game 1.
9-2, and they took the top, with the top tier 1 being taken by the Juggernaut as well. He's got the Mask of Madness, 700 gold and phase boots, and I mean Juggernaut is already a good hero as it is, right? If you build the lineup correctly, he's way more of a pub stumper than he's a competitive hero, but in competitive he's a great hero in his own right if you build the lineup correctly, so you can take advantage of the healing ward, you get him a good lane so he gets ahead, and then he can snowball by farming the jungle and securing your Roshans and whatnot. But he even has Empower. And that just makes the hero... I wouldn't say it makes him 50% more scary, because that's the damage Empower level 4 gives. I think it's even more, just because of the cleave and Omni Slash and how ridiculous that is, how much faster he farms.
Yep.
I would love to see the Magnus not maxing out Skewer, but just getting these 2 points that he has, and then maxing out Empower now to just really get Matumba Man out of control.
Now they get a good initiation off with the Morphling stun, and they get 2 kills. That right-click damage, and it was a DD rune for Dendi. He gets a double. It feels like the first actual fight Na'Vi have really done anything and won. Like, they've got 2 kills before that, but it was always kind of like recovery kills. Like, they'd lose 2 and maybe get 1 kill in return. So Na'Vi, this is kind of their lineup, their first time they've come online. The early game lane stage went poorly for them, but do you really see this as a 4 Anchors lead, or are Na'Vi just going to start being able to use the power of their level? Like, they've all got their level 6s apart from Venge, they've got Familiars. Is this like Na'Vi's time where they're just as strong as 4 Anchors?
I think it's a 4 Anchors lead as long as they make the right play calls right now. So what they need to do is Matumba Man needs to get away from this top lane unless they're going to dive and kill Vanscore here with Trixie's charge. Looks like he's actually trying for it. That is not going to happen. They force a TP though. So for ASC, I think right now in the current position, the moment Magnus, well, he already has the Blink Dagger, right? I actually thought he was getting Arcanes into Blink, but he has the Blink. If they just go Roche right now, I don't think Na'Vi have an easy chance of contesting it. So use the Empower to your advantage, use the Healing Ward, you have Guardian Angel on your Omni Knight, Purification level 3, Repel level 2. It's enough. If Na'Vi try to fight you in the river, you get a really good Omni Slash off most likely. Any decent RP with Shockwave Skewer is 2 kills, and then you get the Roche anyway. So that for me would definitely be the play. It looks like Nymphy is moving toward the Roche, but until Matumba Man moves down there with Juggernaut, that's not the play call. And if they just rest on their laurels now, I think they're going to lose the game. Like, they've drafted a lineup that is so momentum-based that they need to keep it going constantly. So either they find kills or they find objectives, but just farming for 5 minutes is a net win for Na'Vi, I think.
And Na'Vi can just try to take the safer farm on the map. We've got Havas farming up the Ancients in a very defensive posture. And 4 Anchors, if they don't find kills and if they're just going to sit back slowly, and like you say, they've got to either get kills or take objectives, yeah, they're going to lose what they currently have as a kind of small lead. So Na'Vi going to keep farming the Ancients, farming the safe parts of their jungle. Dendi working on a mech, which he's now completed, so that makes him a lot harder to kill, and won't be quite as easy for 4 Anchors to get those kills with this mech now picked up as well.
You know what, GoDz?
What's up?
Let's try to switch.
Switch to a different VoIP program, or?
Yes, I think we need to try to switch. Let's see. I just tried to listen to it myself. I don't know why we're getting this lag. It might just be the delay between us and that it doesn't work that very well with the routing or something, but this is not good. So I'll see if I can remove my Mr. Destructoid appearance and be normal. So let's switch.
Alright. I'll see you on the other side. Alright, we're going to try to fix things up there with some of the sound here. Na'Vi, get a pick off onto your Magnus, and now going to make their move into Roshan. Alright, breaker, 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 breaker. Let me... Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You sound pretty good.
Okay. I'm hoping this is better.
Middle tower is under attack.
Alright, I might have to reconnect to Dota TV just to be sure. So I'll do that. And we missed one kill, I believe.
Bottom tower.
Oh no, don't worry, man.
Well,
We didn't miss anything. Well, I mean, I guess
Oh,
we
excellent.
didn't talk about it, but I was on point. I think.
Perfect.
I don't know. I just saw. I think I got that. Yeah. I saw the kill and then the Roche take for Na'Vi. So
Radiant's bottom tower has been denied.
it feels like Na'Vi have suddenly figured out how they need to play this one. They're farming safely, and when four anchors get too aggressive, Na'Vi are punishing them with kills, and then I mean right there they turn it into an easy Roche take with all the physical damage they have.
Yeah, they... Both Dendi and Hwost are farming very well, whereas for ASC, it's pretty much only the Juggernaut of Matumba Man. And Spirit Breaker, yes, he scales decently, but Trixie's farm is obviously not that high with all the roaming he's been doing. However, he does go for the Midas to catch up, and with Empower, he can actually farm pretty well. I still have to say, like, if this game goes past the 30-minute mark, I just think Navi's lineup is way superior. The only way they really lose late game is by getting caught with, like, a 3 or 4-man RP. Apart from that, they have so extremely much physical damage. Morphling being played as an off-lane core, of course, mainly for utility so far. He can transition into a damage dealer. Else just setting up single target stuns for Drow and Shadow Fiend is scary enough as it is. Even Visage we haven't talked about too much, but that hero also scales very well.
I think with all the damage they have, Phobos doesn't... he's almost better off going utility items. I think he's getting something like a Yule Scepter. Sometimes you see like the Blink, so you can use a Blink Adaptive Strike. They've got more than enough damage from the Drow, the SF, as well as the Visage, so... For Na'Vi, things looking a whole lot better here. Voss has completed Sanjin Yasha, Dendi in the front line, 1600 gold, and 4 anchors are just... I mean, you mentioned if it goes 30 minutes, they're looking bad, but even right now, it's like they seem to have no way to be able to fight into this Na'Vi 5-man.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to do something. Here comes the charge onto Hwost. Oh, they missed the skewer!
Trixie now in trouble. He gets swapped back in as well. This will be an easy pick off for Na'Vi. The waveform forward from Phobos gets the big stun onto Nymphy. Gets kind of, well, not really saved there. The Nightmare kind of delayed the inevitable as Na'Vi still get the kill. They're just going from objective to objective here. I mean, the Aegis is partially why this is happening, but I feel Aegis or no Aegis, Na'Vi's lineup just does this. They just got too much damage output, and 4 anchors, unless they hit that big multiple hero RP to initiate with a skewer backwards, don't stand a chance to fight into Na'Vi.
Dire's bottom tower
We'll see 4 anchors give up another tower at the bottom lane, the tier 2. Trying to find trades at mid lane. Matumba Man will get a tier 1 tower. Is this just like a state of the game where 4 anchors have to avoid Na'Vi at all costs, or are they going to try to take a fight soon?
I think they have to fight. They didn't get an RP off in that last fight, and the way they initiated with Trixie, it just didn't... They didn't get the opener they were looking for simply because they missed the skewer. And I want to say it's just flat out miscommunication, because the way you perform that kill is you let the charge of Trixie hit, and then you blink skewer. But they tried to initiate...
Well, we're losing you, Synderen. I'm going to have to... Oh, we're going to see a TP out from a Matumba Man. Swap going to cancel it. I don't know if this this change is worked out for the better, Synd. I'm sorry. The issues continue to plague us.
Oh boy.
Can you hear me? You just like started cutting out. It was good for a couple minutes, then you just started cutting out in that last 30 seconds or so.
Dire's top tower.
Yeah, I hear you clearly now.
Okay. All right.
Do you hear me?
Yep. You're back. You're
This is,
sounding good.
Okay. I'm puzzled by why the TeamSpeak setup didn't work. I'm not so puzzled by this, but I
It worked to the extent that I
kind
could
of don't
hear you.
understand why
and-
we had so much.
I could hear you and understand you. Just there was like some hissing noise in the background, and like occasionally it'd be like a little robotic, but it quote unquote worked, I guess. Maybe we go back to that after this
It's so-
game.
Top tower has fallen.
Yeah, the weird thing about it is that the setup we were running on TeamSpeak is like identical to what I'm doing when I'm casting with Sunsfan, and we
Yep.
don't have problems with it. So it might
Okay.
just be the routing to you or your routing to the server. Although I think when I cast with Sunsfan, we actually use another server. So maybe the TeamSpeak server just has bad routing to US West, and then
Yeah.
I sound laggy to you. That could easily be the reason.
Na'Vi now taking tier 3 tower. This game is quickly getting out of hand. Na'Vi have turned things around after their bad early game, and they're about to take racks. 18 minutes in. This is what a draft like this does with the Drow Venged Visage and all that, but they'll TP back for the time being. Aegis expiring on Dendi, and well, they've got all this money. It's like you don't really want to push now when you haven't actually picked up those kind of big late game items or even like mid game items. Diffusal for Visage, that's a, I mean, not an odd choice because you're against an Omni Knight, but just not something you'd normally see coming out from a Visage.
Yeah, it's a really nice choice. I think it's better than the Ags right now. Having a third Visage Familiar is obviously great, but he's currently level 9 anyway, so if he finishes in Ags now, it's... The point when Ags starts getting really strong on Visage is when you hit level 11. So this Diffusal right now, the thing they realize is that when 4ESC initiate a fight, there's like only one possible, or there are two ways, let's be honest. There are two ways it can happen. Either they charge in with a Repelled Spirit Breaker, they Diffusal him and kill him instantly, or they get opened with an RP, and the only way that can happen is if they stack together. As long as they just spread out properly, there's kind of no risk. This 4SC lineup doesn't really have the initiation tools they need, and Na'Vi will just brute force down buildings one by one.
Yeah. Jug doesn't have the farmer ability to just go running in as well. We'll see top lane Trixie push pretty far up, and Avos is just going to start poking onto the high ground here. Trixie, got to be careful. And hey, easy racks. Velik's going to be forced in, gets silenced up, and there's your Repel Juggernaut. He'll actually take out those familiars, which Saniko couldn't resummon while Nightmared up, but small victory for your Matumba Man Juggernaut, who takes like 2 right clicks and he's down to half HP. Na'Vi just going to look to brute force this top racks, it seems. The creep wave now joins them up, and Avos with the familiar support will bring down what looks like or at least force out a glyph. No melee racks claimed just yet. For Matumba Man, he's going into that front lane. I'm not sure if they've actually seen the Diffusal Blade. Matumba Man positioning himself very aggressively, and if he gets caught out by a repel into a quick stun from Avenge, he could go down. There's going to be a charge. Here we go. Trixie. It's just a replicate. This is looking absolutely desperate for 4 Anchors. They have to find some way of stopping Na'Vi from getting this Rax, or at least at some point taking a fight. What do you do if you're 4 Anchors, Synderen? Oh, well, yeah, we don't have Synderen. Let me see. Alright, we've got no Synderen. Well, apparently you don't do anything. You let things happen here. Valek's now going to get pushed back here. They're going to go in. There's your RP from your Magnus. Catches out only 2 with the Omni slash follow-up, but the damage output wasn't really there. I'm not sure if the Jug even had an Empower on, and, well, Na'Vi just going to destroy 4 Anchors in their own base. It's 3 heroes on the sidelines. 2 heroes going to buy back out after this, and melee racks being claimed. Trixie going to charge back through, catches out pretty much everyone. Havos on the backline gets a gust off. Trixie didn't actually get hit by this, but he hasn't got another strike anyways. 2 more on the sidelines. Matumba Man fleeing away, and Na'Vi look like they may have game 1 secured. Hopefully for the better, so I can try to get Sin back in action, as we will see the tier 3 tower at middle lane being brought down. I'm getting new TeamSpeak information from Synderen. I'll get back into that one in just a second here. Nemphy going to be pressured out of this lane. It looks like, I imagine a GG call coming any second now. 4 Anchors just getting out DPS. Na'Vi, second lane of racks. GG is called. Guys, sorry for some of the audio issues coming out from Synderen. We're going to try to fix things up during the break before game 2 of this best of 3. But Na'Vi have taken game 1 against the 4 Anchors and Sea Captain. We'll see if they can bounce back or if it's going to be a Na'Vi 2-0. So guys, stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're going to fix up some of these audio issues and hopefully bring you a crisp sounding game 2. I'm GoDz, joining me with Synderen. This is the Summit 3 by Gigabyte. Don't go anywhere.